Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use sorting and grouping levels in your Microsoft Access reports. Today's question comes from Adam in Newport, Vermont, one of my Platinum members. Adam says, I want to prepare a nice report showing the contact history for each of my customers for the past year. I know how to create a query to link together the customer table with the contact table so I can show the results I want that way. However, is there any way to group all of the customer's contacts together so I don't have to keep seeing his name repeat on each line? Thanks. Well, yes, Adam, of course we can do that. In a report, it's called a grouping level. We'll group together all of the customer's contact records so you'll see the customer name once and then all of his contacts in that group. Let me show you how to do it. Before we get started, there are 3 videos I want you to go watch if you haven't already. Watch my blank template. That's where I create my Tech Help free template. Watch my contacts video. That's where I build the contacts portion of that template so you know what the customers and contacts are. And go watch my free relationships video so you understand relating two tables together. These are all free videos. They're on my website. They're on my YouTube channel. I'll put links down below that you can click on in the description. Go watch these first, then come on back. Okay, so here I am in my Tech Help free template. This is a free download. You can go grab a copy off my website if you want to. And in this database, I've got a customer list. There's all my customers. Each customer has a customer form, and each customer can have associated with him multiple contacts. All right, for example, here's James Kirk, right? He fought the Klingons. He destroyed the Enterprise. Then on this date, he sold some tribbles, and then bought a new phaser, and beamed down with Scotty. Okay. Anyway, so he's got a bunch of contacts, and then maybe under me, all right, what do I got in here? I got called for a job, came in for an interview, got hired, whatever. Okay, so you track the contact history with each of your customers. Now, what Adam wants to do is put together a report showing each customer, but only showing the customer's name once, and then showing all that customer's contacts underneath. So we're going to start with a query to join those together. So create, and then query design. And let's get rid of the property sheet. We're going to bring in the 2 tables that have the data that we want in them. So I want the customer table and the contact table. I'm going to close that. Now, because I got 2 fields, both named customer ID, and they're both long integers, this one's an auto number, which is a type of long integer, then Access makes this ad hoc relationship between those 2 tables. So it knows that this customer ID is the same as that customer ID. So we're going to bring in the stuff that we want in the report. Now, I also like to bring in the IDs. We don't necessarily need them because we don't want to see them in the report, but sometimes they're handy for grouping things together, like the same customer ID, right? You might have 2 Jim Kirks in your database, but you'll only have 1 customer number 3. So I'm going to bring in customer ID, and then first name and last name, whatever else you want from the customer table. If you want to put his phone number in there too, that's fine, but I'll just bring that stuff in. Then over here, bring in the stuff you want from the contact table. If you want the contact ID, sure, it won't hurt, but all I care about is the contact date, the description, and the notes, let's say. Okay, I'm going to save this, Control S, as my customer contact queue, my customer contact query. If you want to put some kind of criteria on here, like I noticed that, Adam, you said you wanted it in the past year, just put that here in the criteria for the contact date. Okay? Like you could do greater than, if you want a simple year, you could say today's date minus 365, right? Or if you want an exact calendar date, you could say greater than date add, right? We're adding a year, comma, minus 1. That subtracts a year from today's date, just like that. I covered this in my date add video. Let me zoom in so you can see it. All right, that's an exact calendar year. Okay, but I'm going to get rid of that because we want all of them just for this video because I want to be able to see all the contacts. Okay, so again, save that, and then when you run it, you get that. All right, I can see there's 3 contacts for me. There's 5 in there for Jimmy Kirk, and there's 1 for Deanna Troy. All right, but I don't want this to print out like this. I want it to show my name once, then my contacts underneath it, right? The date and the description, and notes if they're in there, and then Jim Kirk, and then his, right? And so on. I don't want to see this whole thing repeat like a spreadsheet. I want a nice printed report. Well, we need this query to get our data together, but now the query's finished. Let's close that. Now, there is a wizard that does this report for you, but I don't like it. I find myself having to spend way too much time demodifying the report and taking out formatting and all the nasty stuff that the report does. I think it's easier just to build this from scratch. Now, if you built my blank template with me, I got this thing here called blank R. This is basically my blank. Where's design view? This is my blank report that we build in that template. It's just real simple. It's just got all the formatting and stuff that I want. Let me turn this off. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay, so let's just copy this guy. Let's come over here, right? We're going to copy this, Control-C, Control-V. There we go. And we'll call this my customer contact R, right? My customer contact report. All right, we're going to right-click, Design View. I like using Design View. I think this is better. Like, I do forms this way too, as you've seen if you've taken any of my previous videos. I'm not a big fan of the wizards for developing tables and forms and stuff like that. Once you get the hang of it and you learn how to do it from scratch, it's actually easier and faster than going through the wizard. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is bind this report to its data source. So open up the report's properties right here where those ruler bars meet, double click, go to data, and you'll find the record source property. Drop that down. We want our customer contact queue. See, that's why I put T's and Q's on the end of my tables and queries, because now I know that's a query. Okay, so we're done with this now. So now this report knows where it's getting its data from. Let's go to Report Design and find Add Existing Fields. Now we have these fields that show up here because the report knows where it's getting its data from. So these are the fields from that query, right? Let's add them all in. So I'm going to click on the first one, hold down the Shift key, click on the last one, let the Shift key go, and then click and drag any one of them and drop them here in the detail section. The detail section. Okay, now the only reason I keep this little guy around is because I use it for format painting, because it's got no border and it's got a black label as opposed to the stupid border and the gray around here. So I just click on this, watch this. I'm going to go to the format painter, which I put up here on the quick access toolbar, double click, and then go click, 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 click. There, got all the formats that I want. Turn it off, and now I can get rid of you. Goodbye. Boop. See? That's all I keep him around for. Okay, let's slide this stuff over this way, and let's see what we got here. Save it. Let's go to Print Preview. I like to right-click here and go to Print Preview. Okay, that's what it looks like. It looks like a single report, right? Single form, single report. All right, we got one here, another one there, another one there. I want to lay it up in like a grid, more of a grid format. So let's go to Design View. Let's move the labels. Take these labels, cut them out. Control X, snip. Let's put them in here in the page header. Paste like that, right? And then we'll just align them like this. Okay, real simple. And in fact, let's get rid of the notes label. You'll see what I'm going to do with notes in a second. Shrink this detail section, or the page header section up like that, and then just line these guys up underneath them. All right, like so. And learning how to do this formatting, I mean, it seems kind of boring watching me do it, but take your time and practice it. And once you get good at it, you'll see how easy it is. I'm going to put notes underneath description. All right, what about there? Let's put it. Slide this detail section up like that. All right, save it, Control S, and then Print Preview again. And again, I got Print Preview up here on my Quick Launch toolbar. Boop. There it is. All right, looking better. Okay. Contact date's too narrow. We got to make that wider. That's fine. I don't need to see the customer ID, so we can get rid of that. All right, couple more steps here. Let's go and back to Design View. Let's just get rid of customer ID. Again, I want to have it in here in the data source so I can group by it, but I don't need to see it in the actual report. Okay, let's slide first name and last name all the way to the left. And contact date can come over here a little bit more. I'm trying to show you how this evolves, the evolution behind this. And you know what? For the contact date, I'm going to change this to just a short date. So let's go to the format and change the format here to short date. We don't need to see the time unless you care. If you want to see, if you're doing a report like a call center and you want to know exactly how long a call lasted, how long the call was, what time it came in, that's fine. For this, I just want dates. That's all I care about for my personal report here. All right, again, close that. Let's slide this over a little bit more. This description is going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Watch this. And I'm also going to select all of these. Right, see what I did there in the ruler? See, I teach all these little tricks in my full classes, by the way, so that's why it seems like I'm going kind of quick, right? All right, select all of those like that with the ruler, right click, and we're going to go size to grid. There's a little bunch of grid dots in the background to line all your objects up so they're nice and neatly on top of each other like that. One of my pet peeves with Access is when you bring in new objects into the report or a form, it doesn't automatically size them to the grid. I hate that. Microsoft needs to change that. I think I put that on the Microsoft suggestion board several times. Okay. All right, let's see what we got now. Oh, slide you over real quick. Get over there. All right. Save it and print preview. Okay, looking better, looking better. We got to line this up to the left. By default, dates line up on the right, so let's fix that real quick. Take that and align left. Where you format, align left. Let's see. Okay, much better. All right, we're looking good. We're looking good. We're starting to get there. Now, this notes that I got down here underneath it, look at how this is taking up a proper amount of space, but all the rest of these have this big, giant space there because there's an empty notes field. There's no notes there. All right, if someone does have notes, let me save this. Let's go back to somebody else. Let's go back to me. All right, if I do have notes, let's say I got hired, right down here's the notes field. All right, these are some sample notes. Let me make this really, really large too. Copy, paste, 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 paste. All right, so there's a bunch of notes in there. Okay, if I go back to my report, print preview, all right, look at that. See, it took up all that space. That's because this can grow to fit the data that's in it, all right? It can also shrink, and I cover this. I have a separate video on can grow, can shrink. Again, I'll put a link down below. You can go watch on that too. You can go watch on that too. You can go watch that one too. If you look at the field itself, right here, the notes field, okay? If you go to format and slide down to the bottom here, you'll see there's two properties. There's can grow and can shrink. Can grow means it can grow vertically to get bigger to fit more data. Can shrink means it can shrink up, including to nothing, if there's no data in there. However, even though this particular field can shrink, the detail section itself cannot. The default setting is no. So all you have to do is turn that to yes, save it, and now, right-click, print preview. Look at that. See? All these guys here that have no data in there shrunk up, so there's no extra wasted space. Okay, that's nice. I covered that in my can grow, can shrink video. Okay, so we're still getting to the grouping. I know, I'm getting there. I wanted to show you all this other stuff first. One more little thing. I want to put a line underneath this heading here. All right, we're going to make this just a little bit bigger. We're going to drop this down. We're going to go to the line tool. Drop a line in here like this. I just draw it like that big first, and then I grab it and move it where I want it like this. And then slide it over here. So we have a nice little line right there. Beautiful. All right, maybe bold this stuff. Okay, let's take a peek. All right, there we go. Looking good. Now, let's group this so that each one of my contacts show up in one spot. Then all of Jim Kirk's show up in the next spot. Okay, how do we do that? Back to design view. Up here on the ribbon, under Report Design, find this thing over here called Group and Sort. All right, it's under Grouping and Totals. Group and Sort. Click on that. This bar appears down here. No, not the kind of bar where you get beverages. This big, gigantic bar right here. You can add two types of levels, a grouping level or a sorting level. Let's do the group first. So, add a group. You get this new bar here. All right. What do you want to group by? I want to group by customer ID. See, that's why I said it's important to have that customer ID in the query. Okay, so customer ID, that means all the stuff with the same customer ID is going to get grouped together. Okay, from smallest to largest. All right, then that doesn't matter. We're going to put a sort on in a minute to sort it so they're alphabetical. So you can ignore that for now. Hit this more here. Okay, now it's going to be by entire value. There are some options. All right, if you got numbers, you can go by intervals. If it's a date value, you can go by week, by month, by all kinds of different stuff. All right, do you want totals on the bottom? I like to do manual totals, so ignore that for now. I got a whole separate video on how to do totals. Okay, maybe I'll show you how to do one later. Okay, title now. Okay, so there's with a header section and there's without a footer section. So by default, you get a header. You can see right there, I got customer ID header, but you don't have a footer section. That's fine for now. We don't need that right now. Okay, all right. So What we're going to do now is we're going to take our first name and our last name, and we're going to move them up here in the customer ID header. Okay, so all the customer stuff is going to be grouped underneath that. So you're going to have customer, and then that customer's contacts. All right, see how this works? All right, so I'm going to close this. Don't hit this, by the way. This is confusing. I get a lot of emails from people about this one. All right, this X actually deletes this bar that you just created, this grouping level. You don't want to hit that one. You want to hit this one to close the sorting and grouping. Let's call it pane. It's like the navigation pane. That's a sorting and grouping pane. Yeah, it's a big pane, I know. All right, save it and take a peek. Oh, look at that. All right, there's the group for Richard Rost. Now, you got this stupid alternating background color stuff going on. I hate that. I'm going to turn that off in a second. But now you can see at least all of Jimmy Kirk stuff is together here. And then Deanna Troy's got one down below here. All right, let's get rid of that color. Whenever you create one of these new sections, you get this alternate background color. I hate this. Go away. Okay, no color. And let's also put a line underneath each customer. So to do that, we'll need the customer ID footer. All right, so go back to grouping and sorting, hit the more right here, and go with a footer section. Now you can see we have a customer ID footer. So under each customer, we can put stuff. Usually you'll use that for totals and stuff. So I'm going to copy this line that I made up here, copy, click down here in the ID footer, paste it. You can see it's right there. It's right up on top. Just click and drag it down a hair, like there. Just leave a little bit of room, all right? Just so you can see it's there. There's my footer section. And I think we still get that stupid color. Yeah, oh, these colors. Oh, I hate that. Okay. All right. Save it and preview. And look at that. See? Here's our page header. You get Richard Rost, the customer footer right there, the next customer. All right. And then there, down here, there you go. See? All right. Let's make the name look a little better. Instead of Richard Ross like that, let's make it look pretty. So let's go back into here. Whoops, back into here. I'm going to delete last name, and I'm going to make for the first name box a lot bigger, like this. All right, let's open up its properties. Let's go to the All tab. Let's change the name first name to full name. And the control source is now going to be equals last name and quote, comma, space, quote, and first name, like that. Let me zoom in so you can see that better. Shift F2, okay? Equals last name, and Access puts the brackets on there for me, and the quote, comma, space, quote. This is concatenation. I got a whole video on concatenation if you don't know what this stuff is. That's putting two strings together. All right, it just smashes these together, so it'll be Rost, comma, Richard. All right, hit OK. And while I'm at it, let's make this a lot nicer to look at, too. Let's go 18 point. And maybe bold it. Let's see. Bold. OK. And I can get rid of this and this now, because it's pretty obvious, right? All right, let's save it. Close this, and let's take a peek. And, ooh, that looks nice. Look at that. Huh? All right. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Real quick word from our sponsor, that's me. If you want to learn more about sorting and grouping and Access, my Access Expert Level 12 course covers sorting and grouping levels in detail. Lots and lots of detail. Where are we at? Right down here. All kinds of cool stuff. We group customers by country and then by state. We do counts and all that stuff, credit limit sums. Talk about date part. We do weeks, hours worked, all this kind of cool stuff. Grouping together by whatever this is, numbers and currency. All kind. There's so much stuff covered in this class, I don't even remember all of it. But again, that's Access Expert 12. I'll put a link down below you can click on if you want to learn more. So back to our stuff here. Let's put a sort on this. So it's just it's Ross, Richard, James Kirk, Deanna, Troy. Now I want these sorted alphabetically by last name. All right, we'll go last name then also first name. Because if I got, Jim Kirk and then I got Dave Kirk, Dave should be on top, obviously. So let's go back into Design View. All right, let's turn on sorting and grouping. Okay, now we're going to add a sort down here. We're going to sort by last name. But here's the problem. The grouping level is going to go first. So if I just leave it like this, watch what happens. All right, look, it's still Richard Ross, James Kirk. What? Because the sorting level is under the grouping level. All right, so we need to move that. We need to move the sort so it's above the group. So it sorts first, then it groups. All right, makes sense? So come back in here. All right, take this sort by last name bar, and we're going to click this little button right there to move it up. See? Now the sort by last name is before it groups by customer ID. And while I'm at it, I'll add a sort for first name as well, and I'll move that up once. So it goes sort by last name, then sort by first name, then group by customer ID. Okay, now I can close this pane. And now save it. And let's go to preview. And look at that. Perfect, right? Kirk James, Ross Richard, Troy Deanna. Perfect. And you can put on here, a header across the top of the report header, like, put a label up here and go customer contact report, whatever you want to call it, right? Format it, make it big, make it colorful if you got a color printer and you want to waste ink, that kind of stuff. Whatever you want to do to make it pretty. I honestly think you don't need these either. I would get rid of this because, at this point, these labels are kind of meaningless. I'm going to take the line here and move that up here so it only shows up once on the top of the report. I don't think we really need a page header for this one. And if you want to put a page footer on the bottom with the the page numbering and all that stuff, I cover all that in my basic reporting class. I think that's an Access Beginner 1, my free lessons. All right, you can do all kinds of stuff here. You can make this, change the font. You can do something like this. You can make it bold. You can make it bigger. Whatever you want to do, sky's the limit, right? That's why we're building with Access, because we want to make things look exactly the way we want. Save it and preview. And oh, it's looking really good. And there's all kinds of other settings in here. You can force the group header to start or to stay with the first detail. You can keep the whole group together on a page. I cover all that stuff in my Access Expert 12 class, was it? Yeah, Access Expert 12. All right, one more thing. Bonus material. I promised you I'd show you how to do at least one little total. Let's say you want to get a count. You want to count the number of total contacts that each customer has. Okay, so in the footer for that group, all right, we're going to count it for each customer down under here. All right, put a text box. Okay, and we'll put in here, number of contacts, right? Number of contacts. Like that. And yeah, I'll leave this gray. And let's slide it over here. Okay, and we're going to do, in this text box, open it up, and we're going to say the name is going to be count contacts. And in here, we're going to put equals count, and then in parentheses, a star, like that. That says just count all the records inside this group. All right, save it, preview it, and there you go. There's 5, and down here you get 3 and 1. And you can see why I have my other guy with the borders off and stuff. We'll go in here and fix that. All right, let's see. Come here. To turn that border off, you got to click on it. You got to go to Format. You got to go to Shape Outline, Transparent, right? That's a pain. And maybe we'll left align that too. Okay, save it, and now preview it. And there you go. There's your total contacts for each person. That might look better on top of that line. Let's go back in here. Let's do this. Let's put the line below the contacts like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm going to slide this up. Save it, preview it, and boom. Okay? 5 contacts. You can do the same thing with sum, average, all those functions. And again, I cover all that in my full class. All right, that's just to give you a little sample, a little bonus material there of why you should sign up for my classes. Yes, these tech help videos are great. They give you little nuggets of information. But if you want stuff prepared and taught thoroughly and get you all the information, that's what my full classes are for. This is just because I like you. If you want to learn more in the extended cut for the members, we're going to use grouping levels to print multiple invoices. If you've used my Tech Help database before, you know that there's an invoice you can generate for each order. Well, the way it's set up now is it only generates one invoice at a time. So you have to have that order up on the screen with the order form to print that invoice. But we'll get rid of that. We'll use grouping levels so you can print multiple invoices in one run. So you could print all invoices for a customer, all unpaid invoices for a customer. So you can mail them all at once, for example, or all unpaid invoices for everybody. So you can do one batch a month and print all the unpaid invoices in your system, mail them. I'll also show you how to reset the page numbering so that each invoice, as it starts, it'll start a new page number 1. Okay? That's all covered in the extended cut for the members. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos, all of them, 200 plus and counting. And gold members get access to my code vault, and you can download these databases. How do you become a member? Click on the join button below the video. After you click the join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any Tech Help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you finish the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for Tech Help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free Tech Help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.